right, here we go. Ooh, hot. Hello, hello. Hey, you're notifying people I'm live. I keep on having to do this because I've got my old people glasses on. Oops, wrong direction. All right, welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's a little bit later than I normally do my TikTok lives, but I was hoping to, help some folks that are, tuning in this time. Maybe a couple of West Coast folks. Good morning, Jen B. Nice to see you. German Maid 95. Nice to see you as well. Seeing some friendly, familiar names. So nice to see you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Beth, but I would so much rather you remember Destination Decluttered. Because destination, it's all about the destination, people, and not just about getting there. No, it's about having something you're shooting for, something you're driving towards, because the journey is where it's all about. German May 95, thank you. I did get my hair cut. I literally just came from the haircut person. I almost said the hairdresser, but I'm not I'm not 87 years old, okay? So yeah, I just came from my guy Phil, who's awesome. So thank you. Yes, I'm trying to keep the shorter hair thing going. So thank you very much. So I show up doing TikTok lives. I do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm really just here to help you. Seriously, I know what it's like to be stuck with clutter or just being like, what's going on in my life? I don't know what to do. And I have been there. Oh, thank you for saying my hair always looks awesome. You know what? I got my guy Phil. He and I always say, like, having a good car mechanic and a good hairdresser. See, again, 87, 90 years old, I'm saying hairdresser, are two really important things. So thank you folks. But anyhow, I'm here for the next hour or so to help you get unstuck from where you're stuck with your clutter. Sticky, stanky, stuck thoughts. Let's change those thoughts into thoughts that get you moving about your stuff and clutter. Yes, hairstylist. You're right. Thank you. It's almost like the mailman, the mail carrier. I gotta improve. Oh, this is so good. I gotta improve and upgrade my vocabulary for things like that, much like when we are coaching, that you upgrading your vocabulary for how you think and talk about things that are going on in your life makes such a difference too. Basically what you say out loud is the external version of your thoughts, and if you have stinky thoughts or not so helpful thoughts, they're going to keep you stuck, and if you have helpful thoughts, they're going to get you going. All right. Hey, the Gonzalez family just said, thanks for your content. I got my entire house cleaned this weekend, finding a system that works. Rock on, Gonzalez family. Woohoo! You guys, that's so cool. And the thing is that I want to mention is having a system that works for you, for your family, for your brain, however your brain works, is the key. What I will do is I will offer what has worked for me and what has worked for my clients. But I use that just as a jumping off point. If it doesn't exactly work for you, find out the parts that are wrong, that don't click, and fix them until they do, so you have a system that works for you. All right, Lady V is saying, went to clean my basement and didn't know where to start. Now this is interesting. I was kind of psyched. Yesterday I got interviewed for a podcast, and the guy who was interviewing me mentioned going down to the basement and not knowing where to start. So this is perfect time. What I want to offer is this is how I do all of it. So if you haven't met me, this is what I would say is, what is your destination? So like a road trip, because you're going on a road trip, you're here, your basement is whatever, and you need to get to where you want your basement to be better than what it looks like. So what is your destination? Is it to clean the space, to use it? Is it just you have to go through some stuff? When you know why you're doing it, and when you get excited about the possibilities of how much better it's going to look, that's going to help you, So I want to say, getting yourself a goal to say, isn't it going to look so great? You can picture it in your head when that basement looks just the way you want it to and feels the way you want it to. The other thing too is oftentimes that I don't know where to start is a verbal kind of thing that you say when you maybe feel overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. This is a thought. I don't know where to start. You feel overwhelmed, so you don't start at all. What I want to say is a better thought is I can start anywhere, but I'm going to give you some tips. Is first of all, start small and start easy. Any of these big areas, I would say a couple things. So some of those, okay, feel overwhelmed. Yeah, overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed, you can just chunk down the overwhelm. Take it from over you, pull it down, chunk it down. Okay, you have control over your overwhelm. And I would say this, there's 3 levels of clutter, and they're kind of the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse. I don't know, the 3 places on your road trip that you go. So start with surface clutter. Start with stuff that doesn't mean a lot. You know, like in our basement, we just spent like 20 minutes a couple of days, not even 20 minutes, 5-10 minutes, like breaking down all of the boxes from like Amazon or beer boxes or wine, like whatever papers. Start with the easy stuff. Also look at the big things that will give you that bang for your buck, the square footage you need that isn't going to take a lot of, kind of mental heavy lifting. You've got surface clutter, you've got stored clutter, and you've got sentimental clutter. So start with the easy stuff first. The big items, the ones that are going to not take a lot of stuff, and then look into what you've got stored and ask yourself, are you using it or not? Okay? Then and only then, people, this is how I roll, and this is what I'll just say, is then after you do those things, get yourself into the sentimental stuff. Do not start with the sentimental stuff. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it just sets you up to be kind of bummed out and not making the progress you want, okay? So there's a couple of tips on how to chunk things down, okay? What do we got going here? 1 room at a time works wonderful. I clean a room, watch an episode, clean a room, watch it, help me balance tasks and relax so I don't feel overwhelmed. That's the key. So this is, again, why I may sneeze, excuse me, but this is why I am always talking about life being a road trip. Excuse me. So life being a road trip, it's not about driving 72 hours in a row, white knuckling it, not stopping to pee, not stopping to have fun. Life is a road trip, so do the work and then have some fun. Then do some work and have some fun. It's kind of like I just started this kind of new way of trying to change up how I eat so I can fit into my clothes more comfortably. And it's just a different way of thinking of it. So yeah, do that. Take things a little bit at a time and don't make it so painful and arduous that you don't want to do it. That's the whole thing. Now that I got caught up in staying disciplined when maintaining. Okay, now the Gonzalez people, and what I want to offer is everybody, is getting decluttered is kind of a different process than staying decluttered. Getting decluttered is knocking down what I always call, and I'm always, when I've got my little pins back here, I'm always thinking of like this whole backlog. So you are here at this pin today in your life on a map. And you got here by doing certain things. And some of the things you did was you gathered up some clutter. You did that by having habits that caused you to be cluttered. What I want to offer a Gonzalez family and everybody is to really get curious and pay attention to yourself and the habits you have that get you cluttered. Do you walk in and just throw the mail anywhere it goes and then it gets lost? Do you dump your stuff when you first come in the house and it just stays there? Do you never put your keys in the same place? Do you leave your dishes to accumulate all over the place in the house, or do you bring them back to your kitchen? When they're in the kitchen, do you allow them to stack up? Habits, habits, habits. I love that because habits are kind of boring, but you can create habits that work in your behalf. A little bit at a time. When you do these things, when you tighten up the loops of getting yourself decluttered a little bit at a time every day, it makes it so much easier. Okay. And I love it. Teaching the kids how to declutter is a great thing. My husband doesn't want to get low of antique, useless furniture that's taking up a lot of space. Okay, so a couple things. One is that sounds like it could be a sentimental item. Could be, right? I'm not sure, but what I would offer is, if you're not using the furniture, question why you're not using the furniture. It's all up here, people. I got to share. Like, I could give tips like, here, fold your laundry like this. No, because the real cool changes that you can learn about yourself with decluttering happen up here. And so there's a thought that your husband has about not wanting to let go of the furniture. There's a thought that you have about why you want to let go of the furniture. So find out what that thought is of his and see if it aligns with what you guys want your life to look and feel like. It's really kind of fascinating. What I want to offer is, when we go to these things, if we say, well, that person it's all his fault. And I'm not saying you're doing that, but many of us kind of point fingers when we should also get clear on why we want to get rid of something or pass it along. So just get curious and ask him why he wants to keep it, if it is in fact taking up lots of space and you're not using it. Have a convo. Go at it collaboratively. I think of sometimes when we have conversations with people, like if you're on either sides of a table, like you're sitting at a two-top, right? And you have a conversation, it looks like a bit adversarial. But again, thinking about the times when you're out on a road trip where you're both facing in the same direction, you're both in the car, in the front seat perhaps, is you're both driving towards a destination you want. So find out what you both want your home to look and feel like, okay? Irish Pink, nice to see you, Melissa. Doing a big declutter as we get ready to move next year. I love it. I am here for you, as you know, because you keep showing up. And here's the great thing, is some of the things that we do with decluttering will just help our lives in general. And a lot of that is the basics of chunking things down that are overwhelming into smaller bits so that you are able to take action. If it's too big, you're not going to do anything. But if you chunk it down, you can take action. Also, doing a little bit at a time and showing up, getting into the habit of showing up. And also repetition. Repetition is so important, especially when you are trying to train your brain to think in more helpful thoughts, the helpful thoughts that get you going, as opposed to being stuck in the rut of thinking things about your clutter in your life that keep you stuck, okay? Whole bunch of new messages just popped up, so give me a sec. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay, here we go. Okay, whole house is cluttered. Whole house is too overwhelming. Start with one room. Also, you can chunk things down by setting your timer for 20 minutes and start in one room and say, I'm going to work on the surface clutter in this one room for 20 minutes. That is like a multiple chunking down, because you've chunked down the space, you've chunked down the category, and you've chunked down the time that you're doing it. Okay? Yep. There you go. Robin Montgomery's got it. She's breaking things down into little bits, into different parts. Okay. Ashley is asking, what about the overwhelm from sentimental clutter? So sentimental clutter, for everybody, is the third category. It's also the one that I say when you're on the journey to getting decluttered that you deal with last. So what I will say about this is I say that specifically because sentimental clutter makes you feel feelings. Feeling feelings is a human thing, and you should feel feelings, but it also gets you sitting down and thinking and going into story mode, so you are not going to make the distance that you had if you were just dealing with surface clutter all the time. So if it's unorganized and it's a big process and overwhelm, notice the words you're using. Overwhelm, you chunk it down. So you could say, I'm just going to go through this one box of clutter or sentimental items today. Or I'm just going to go through some sentimental items for 20 minutes. Or I'm just going to go through this corner of this room that has sentimental items, right? Go through them, feel the feelings, hear the stories, and then decide for yourself whether you want to keep the thing or not based on the story it tells you. Some of the stuff we save for sentimental reasons tells us crappy stories. I just got to say, so I am a firm believer of releasing all the items in your home that tell you a crappy story. Life's too short. But if it tells you a good story, is there a way that you can remember the story without owning the item? And you don't have to get rid of all your sentimental stuff. I don't. I mean, honestly, if you just dealt with your surface clutter and your stored clutter and you went through your sentimental items to just say, yes, I want to keep all of these, you'd be in great shape. That's what I've done, you know? Okay. Oh, family sidetracking. Yeah, one personal crisis after another. Yeah, Atomic Habits rocks. I will totally say that. What I want to offer too is allowing yourself to get sidetracked is a habit. You can show up even when there's crises going along in your life. You can find 20 minutes to declutter. And who knows, sometimes I find it therapeutic when I have drama going on in my family to be like, I can't control you, but God, I can control whether I have dishes in the sink or not. Just want to offer, it can be therapeutic, okay? I'm not looking over your shoulder, Marcia Hagan, but I will say that a lot of us, you're not alone. All of us, you guys, we live in a world that says, buy more, keep more, you should save that. You don't give that away. It might be good someday, and sometimes that feels good. Like I remember when I was in my, teens and 20s and collecting things, and this is what I want my life to look and feel like, and this it is. And then suddenly it did, and then where it didn't, I changed it. Now, what I want to offer is, what do you want your life to look and feel like? What do you want your home to look and feel like right now? And that may have little bearing on what you wanted it to look like in the past, and that's okay. Oh my God, it's okay. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to evolve. But you deserve to live in a home and a life that you love how it looks and feels, okay? I love identifying clutter trouble spots and creating a system is helping me. I love that word system, because systems, here's the deal. When you have a habit, when you have a system, it goes from your brain having to think about it all the time to you just being able to do it. And the way that you do that is finding a system that works for you and showing up every day to do it. And the repetition allows it to pave a path in your brain. This is actually a perfect time for me to mention, and this is totally not planned, but so I have a Destination Decluttered email mailing list. If you're interested in joining up on that, I will tell you 2 reasons why you might be interested in that. One is that I just mentioned that whole notion of showing up over and over again, like every day for a little bit at a time doing things. So I have a habit tracker that I use myself. This is mine. I just printed it out and started it because yesterday was the first of the month, and I call it Pavers and Potholes. And you get a free copy of this. You actually get 2 automatically when you sign up for my mailing list. It's a PDF. You can own it for life and print it out for the rest of your life. You get a blank one that has places for you to put your personal goals in it, but you get another one that has the top 10 places where clutter usually accumulates or people get stuck with clutter, and to have yourself just check off, yes, I hung up my coat, yes, I did the dishes, whatever it is to get you showing up a little bit every day to do your decluttering. You also get, and this is at destinationdecluttered.com/join my mailing list. You can also find out about one-on-one coaching. That's what one-on-one, it's like little people, I should put little smiley faces. On my website, destinationdecluttered.com. The other cool thing, if you join the mailing list, I don't send a lot of emails, frankly, because what am I going to do? Clutter up your email box? But I do a once a month members only, email list only Zoom call, where it's a bit of a feeling of what it would be like to get one-on-one coaching, because I only coach on Zoom for clients all over the country. So it's like showing up on Zoom and asking your question and getting it answered. So I mention that because breaking things down and repeating things and creating a system, that's what it's all about. And I want to say, Ezra, it may not be as difficult as you think. Thinking it's difficult, making yourself feel difficult, it's, easier said than done. Yeah, but that's a thought that keeps you stuck. I want to offer, there's a more helpful thought in another part of your brain, what I call your co-pilot brain versus your backseat drivers, that gets you to do the things that get you on the life that you want. Okay. All right. What else do we got? Countertops. Yeah. Countertops. Yeah. They are places where things accumulate on a daily basis, and knocking that stuff down, knocking down what's there now is the decluttering, but staying decluttered is showing up every day and saying, okay, this stuff doesn't belong. Right? I thought I joined your mailing list, but received nothing. Do I do it again? User 1963. You know what? I have a few people that are caught in kind of a spam filter that it's being kicked back to me. Do this. Send me an email at beth@destinationdecluttered.com. Send me an email, and I will be able to check your email address and see if you're caught in that filter. Okay, I just sent out the monthly Destination Decluttered mailing list on yesterday morning. So if you didn't get that, check your spam filters. It should be coming from beth@destinationdecluttered.com. So there we go. Yeah, literally everything is easier said than done. Everything's to me, oh, you just do this. But you know what? some things are worth doing, even if they're not as easy as you want them to be, because who the frick doesn't want to live a life that looks and feels like you want it to? You know? There you go. I thought I wasn't getting your emails, but I did. Yeah, I don't want to clutter up your email box, but I want to offer you quality to say thank you for sending an email to me, you know? Okay, so here's a good thing. Ms. Krentis is saying intellectually, so that's interesting. We have these thoughts, like we have our conscious thoughts. I should get rid of that. But then you have another thought, and it's a fear. A fear is what I call a backseat driver thought. That's an unhelpful thought that keeps you stuck. That says, what if I need it? Okay, so what if I need this item? So give yourself an opportunity to use that item. Put a date on it. Get some, I like painter's tape because it's easy to remove, but get a piece of painter's tape and say use by, and put 6 months on it. Give yourself 6 months an opportunity to use that. Then that at least gives you information to say, you know what, I didn't use it in 6 months. Then you're more likely to be able to release it. The other thing, if you do need it, I don't even know what it is, but if it is something that you haven't used and then suddenly you decide to donate it somewhere, and it's happened to me where it's like, oh yeah, of course, as soon as we donated it, we needed it. But you know what we did instead? This is what I want to offer, is break that cycle of feeling like you need to buy stuff. Believe you can borrow. Okay? Believe you can borrow. And I mean that you can ask a neighbor, you can ask a friend, you can ask a coworker, you can ask somebody on your local Facebook group, do you have a X thing that I just donate, And I'm sure there are people out there that are stuck with their clutter that they would probably have it. And then if you can't borrow it, just, you know what, if you need it, if you really need it, I mean, maybe there's something else you can use instead. Get crafty, get curious. And if not, oh my gosh, you can buy it again. There you go. Okay, if you need everything, you're a hoarder, then you should get some help, because hoarding is an official diagnosis in the DSM-5, and there are people out there who can help true hoarders. I would get rid of more if I could sell it. Okay, so what's stopping you from selling it? My love, Yep, there's all sorts of things you can do to remove the items that no longer work for you. You can sell them, you can donate them, you can... I really discourage putting good stuff in the trash. I really do. But yeah, see, there's helpful things right there. Yep. Selling stuff. Do it. Yeah. It's, you can make money from it. I made money for quite a while doing it. Now at this point, I would rather donate items, because I have been lucky enough to benefit from people donating items to thrift stores and things. I mean, so much of the vintage stuff you see behind me, every single piece there has come from a thrift store, All right, let's see. I love to spend money, and I absolutely hate feeling needy or being a burden. Interesting. Yeah, hopefully all that makes you feel good. And if it does, rock on. If you love your stuff, I have no problem with that. This is all about how you living a life you want to look and feel, Let's see, what else we got? My HOA only lets me have a yard sale 1 or 2 times a year. Well, you know what the cool thing is make those count, Yeah, clutter makes my anxiety skyrocket. Yes, it does. It doesn't. Here's the thing. When you are surrounded by all the stuff that you love and nothing's telling you a bad story, when you know that all you have around you is stuff you really love, that is useful to you, that makes your life easier, and that you don't have too much of it. When you have that kind of just right feeling, remember, who is it, Goldilocks? Too much, just right, not enough, too much, just right, not enough. Too much can feel as lousy in a different way as not enough does, So what I want to offer is dealing with your clutter helps you feel better in your body, feel better in your life, feel better in your brain. When you're not looking at all this stuff that's telling you to do stuff, put this away, get that fixed, return this, got to do that. Your stuff talks to you. Does your stuff talk to you? It talks to me, and quiet your brain by putting things away where they belong, so you know where they are when you go to look for them. That's one of the reasons why having an organized house is so helpful for you. Because how frustrating is it when you go to find the scissors, you need to use the scissors and you can't find the scissors because they're not where they're supposed to be, And how great does it feel when you reach into your closet and you can immediately pull out clothes that fit you, that you're going to put on, that you look good and feel good in, so you can go out and live your life. But if you're struggling to find the things and it's confused up with items that you're not using or that are broken, or it's all in a kerfuffle. It's not just about it looking good on some Pinterest page. It's about your home functioning to make it easier for you to live in it, you know? Of course, stuff does talk to you. That's why it's easier to clean someone else's home. Of course, because we don't know the stories. I don't know the stories about your stuff. Only you do, right? Your stories about your stuff is keeping you stuck with it or allowing you to easily release it, you know? Desperately need to have a garage sale. It's getting to be the season, at least where I am. I'm on the East Coast of the United States, and the weather is finally turning into garage sale season. You know, where does mental health issues fit in there? So mental health issues, so I will say hoarding. If you're a true hoarder, that is a diagnosis in the DSM-5, so you want to get professional psychological help for that. Other than that, when it's not that dire of a situation, I have to offer to you that everything is up here with your clutter. I know you want it to be just, oh, all I have to do is move these things with my hands. But if you are not putting things away, if you are not moving things to where you want them to, there's a thought that you have that's creating a feeling that's stopping you from moving your hands and taking that action and doing it, you know? I understand concepts you mentioned, but it's so hard. And what I want to say is, find out what thought, that's a thought that's keeping you stuck. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? If you know you want to change your life, it's different. Change is different. Change is doing something different to get a different result. And when you know with your clutter that it's going to get a result you love because you've decided that you deserve to live in a home that looks and feels exactly how you want it to, I want to offer that you are worth spending the time on yourself, turning that lens inward to figure out what is the thought that's keeping me stuck. Why can't I why can't I donate some of these items? You know, maybe you didn't have enough when you were growing up. Maybe the stuff you have to you represents success because you have so much money to buy all these things. You know, there are thoughts that you have that create a feeling in you that either get you to do something helpful or get you to do something that just keeps you stuck doing the same thing, you know? Harder for me to not be able to find matched socks in the morning or a flashlight when power went out. Yeah, see how it is? You know? What do you suggest if you have 3 different sets of clothing due to constant weight fluctuations? Oh, I love this one because it's pretty easy. Here's what I want to offer is, first of all, this is for everybody who's looking for a system, listen up. So I mentioned that notion of surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter. So clothing is stored clutter. And what you need to do with in order to have it be less cluttered is you need to categorize it. So you've got categories of clothing. You've got different collections of clothing that are different sizes, okay? And what I want to offer is, when you have clothing that doesn't fit, you have clothing that fits now. Unless you're sitting around your house naked, your business, not mine, don't show me, but you have clothing that fits you now that you wear. You also have clothing that does not fit you. What I want to offer is the clothing that does not fit you on either end, too big, too small, and you think you want to change your body to fit it in again. Pull those clothes that don't fit out of circulation. They don't fit, they're just getting in the way. And what I want to offer is put them away in a tote. Label the tote with today's date and what size they are. And then here's the beauty of it. Allow yourself the chance to become the person you want to be. Now, what does that mean? What that means is, now that you're saying, I am holding on to these clothes because I want to be that size again, then do the things, give yourself a chance to do the things to change your body to that size. Give yourself the chance. And if you do it and it works and you are able to fit into those clothes, great. You know exactly where they are. But I want to offer, if you've decided that it's too hard or you don't want to, or for whatever reason you decide not to do that and fit into those clothes again, you've already sequestered them away so you feel better about donating them because you've given yourself a chance to do it. And, you know, so it's kind of a win-win. All right. So that's what I want to offer. Do you ever change your decor? Do you keep or get rid of? Behind me, I pretty much don't because I delight in this. I store things in these little train cases. These are my books from when I would write books on, what do you call it? Road tripping. I have like some boxes down here. I don't change much what's behind me in my home occasionally, but I love how my home looks. I do. I mean, but I doesn't mean that I don't go out and look for stuff. I mean, but I love going to like vintage flea markets and things like that. If I see something that I like that I know will add to the delight of my home, I will buy it, of course. But the cool thing is I love how my home looks right now, and I know the spaces. Like if I see a spaghetti lamp, I would love to get one of those, but I don't really have a place that it's going to look good, but I like looking at them, you know. It's Kelly. Best 5 minutes spent today. Rock on, my friend. You can do it. Yeah. The clothes I haven't fit in 3 years. I did the same thing, you guys. I mean, we're all different now post-COVID, wherever your body is, and love yourself where you are right now, and also give yourself the opportunity to change. And that can be changing to say, I am going to stop killing myself to fit into clothing that I don't fit into anymore, or I'm going to start eating differently to get myself in better shape. It's all up to you, Yep. All right. Where did you get the bookcase? I got it at IKEA. Maybe you have one near you. Yeah. Your home should delight you. You should walk into your home from the craziness of the outside world and go, I'm home. I love this place. Everything's in its place. I know where it is. Everything around me. So, I mean, when you were a kid, you couldn't do it. Now you can do anything you want to your home. Why not make it the best you can be? Oh, I made a decluttering vision board with words and affirmations from you. Thank you very much. I love that, and I hope they help you. Got rid of a dress I would love to have back, but I got rid of bags full of clothes and I didn't want. It happens. It happens sometimes. It happens to the best of us. I bet there'll be another dress, All right, so much kitchen stuff, many, many totes of kitchen items. Interesting that they're in totes. Put them in your kitchen. If you're not using them, that's okay. Maybe somebody out there needs them. Maybe somebody has no kitchen stuff at all. Here's the thing I want to be really, just think about this. Clutter is an abundance issue. We are all so lucky that we have clutter, because you know what that means? We have more than enough. We have enough plus another guy, right? We have too much. In our abundance, having it is not helping us. It's almost like when you eat too much and then you're full and you're full and you're full and you're full and you keep on eating, it just makes you feel blurgy, right? But if you eat the right amount, you feel good and whatever. When you have too much, if it's not making you feel good, pass it along to somebody who could help them with, Here we go. Suggestions on how to help your mother declutter her home. Slight hoarder, but will not get help. Oh, hun. ZBJ, you and me, my mom. Totally. Here's what I want to offer to you and to everybody. You know how hard it is to change yourself, right? And even when you want to change, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, babe. It is nearly impossible to change somebody else, and especially if they don't want to change. So what I would offer is come at it with yourself, and when you're trying to help other people with their clutter, come at it from a sense of love and compassion and looking to help them. And what can I do to help? Ask your mother and make sure your vibe is aligned. Don't go in all judgy. And I've done it. It's like I look back on some of the things I did in my ham-handed attempt to help somebody, and it's like no wonder I didn't get the response I wanted, because I came in and was like, here, I'll just do this, whatever, whatever. Don't be judgy. Go up and say, can I help you with this? What can I help you with? What would make you feel better in your home? Now, if your mom says she doesn't want help, there's only so much you can do. Trust me. There's only so much you can do. But if she says you want help, give her the help that she wants, and don't be judgy, be helpful. The other thing too, I want to offer to you, not to your mom, but to you and to anybody else here who has living parents of any age that live in a space that has stuff in it. Make a plan and start now in your own internal thing to say, what am I going to do with their stuff when they're gone? And this isn't for them so much. This is for you to have a plan, to get clear on when they pass. Is there anything of theirs that I want in their house? Do I want in my house? Ask them what they want to happen, if anything. Are there certain items that they want to have passed down? I have a bunch of videos on my TikTok page, so if you haven't already, if you could do me a favor and do yourself a favor and like my TikTok page, there are some videos I've done and I will continue to do about like parental clutter and family clutter, right? So make a plan for yourself. Not to case the joint like some person who's like, ooh, I want to get the china and whatever. Like, have those conversations, but do all this stuff prior to it becoming a crisis event when you're dealing with health issues and end of life care and all that. Like, have a conversation about stuff. It's kind of like that, the book, The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. We're all going to die and we're all going to leave stuff behind. So the more that you can make a plan for it while you're still here, a plan that makes you feel peace of mind because there's a plan in place, it'll make you feel better. Okay? Yep. Annalisa saying, I hope that board says wicked. Yeah. I just spent the weekend with my sister. I'm from Massachusetts originally, and she just came down to PA from Massachusetts. So I have a little bit of that going on. We also saw a Massachusetts singer-songwriter play. Yada, yada. Okay. Yeah, see, my parents died and I'm still housing some of their things. And here's the thing I got to offer. I love it, is after watching you a month ago, I put stuff I didn't need in a bin and donated to women's shelter. I love it. That's so cool. And memories of mom's decluttering was draining. Yes, decluttering of sentimental objects is incredibly draining. So be well rested. Take care of yourself. Know that you are not going to make the flying on the highway kind of trip towards your destination when you go through that stuff. But what I want to offer to all of you, all of me, all of us is two things with parental and family clutter. Just because that person liked that thing doesn't mean you have to like that thing. You are allowed to donate items that that person liked that you don't like to somebody else. Ask anybody else in the family if they want it. If they want it, that's great. But you are under no obligation to keep anything of your parents or relatives in your home that does not bring you joy. Life is too short to have dead people bossing you around. You're still here on the planet and you want to enjoy your time in your home. Why bring things in it that are going to make you feel bad, okay? The other thing is, too, is that, like, the sentimental items, everything the person touches is going to have a story. Oh, that's her dress. That's her pen. That's her cup. That's her, salt and pepper shakers. You will never forget, even if you got rid of every single stitch of every single item that somebody owned, you will never forget the person. So just know that donating and passing along their items does not mean you didn't love the person. Okay? I just want to offer that because you are here and you are alive. You have precious few moments left on this earth. Why not freaking enjoy them? And if you have a little voice that says, well, yeah, but that's a backseat driver thought keeping you stuck from living the life you want to live. If you want to live a life that's not so weighed down by clutter that makes you feel bad. Okay? I moved for the first time in 30 years, donated more than I kept. Kind of freeing, isn't it? Yeah. My mom has someone come for 6 hours a week to help her declutter. My siblings and I are so grateful. Yes. That is so awesome of your mom to do because it's all about, she knows the stories behind these things. I've helped my mother with her clutter a lot. And it is draining, and especially when there's a family dynamic. So if there's an outside person you can hire that goes in and helps her with that, that is beauty. That's not what I do. I just coach on Zoom one-on-one, which is great because then I can help anybody across the country, But anyhow, what I want to offer is that it is such a good thing to do while you're there. They do, yeah. Yep, they do boss you around. Sis was keeping something from Nana. Mom told her it was not sentimental and bought from a garage sale. We all have our own stories. The stuff that somebody says is not important to you might be important to them. Like, it's crazy the things that you have sentimental attachments to, I tell my, I love it. I tell my children to toss anything they don't want. I know it. Yes. I may have to quickly move after 12 years. Number one thing to do. All right, here's the thing. I love kind of playing this game. Everybody play this game. Make it fun. This is what I do with my coaching. I like to make it fun because if it's not fun, I'm not going to show up and do it. If it's arduous, right? What I want to say is, imagine your dream home that you want to move into, but it's half the size of where you currently are now. Your dream home, whatever it looks like. It can be mid-century modern, it can be rustic, it can be a barn-dominium, a word I just learned from a new client. But it's half the physical size, so you can only bring half of the stuff you own. What are the things that you would immediately say, yes, this is going to me to my dream home, and no, I'm sorry, I don't have you. You know, play with what are the things you really know that what are the things you are essential to you to move into a new place, and what are the things that you say, maybe this is the time I can let it go. Think about the surface clutter. Think about the stuff that you have in storage. Think about the sentimental stuff. Think about the stuff you haven't used in a really long time. Imagine what your place is going to look like when you only have around you the essentials of what's going to bring you joy and make it easy for you. You know, if you have duplicates of things, get rid of those. Any little bit you can do beforehand, before you move, to reduce the sheer volume of stuff, and do it in the right way. Don't get into a frantic mode. So right now you say, I might have to. Just start now, while the stakes are low, saying what's important to me in my life now, and what do I want my life to look and feel like, and how does that support it? You know, my daughter and grandkids live with me. My house is constant chaos. How do you live with a messy person? First of all, you make sure that you've got your own ducks in a row, so you're not adding to the mess yourself. You lead by example, cleaning up, but then also, depending upon the situation, I will offer, and this is how I coach, is decluttering and staying decluttered is a life skill. It is a life skill no matter where that person lives. So training your children, maybe it's your daughter. So it's like having an expectation. If your daughter and grandkids are living with you, if it's your home, you have every right to create a boundary to say, hey, these are the rules we live in. This is how, I'm always saying, this is how we do it. Now, I don't know if that song would resonate with your family. This is how, but in our home, this is how we do it. After we eat our dinner at the table, we put our dishes in the sink. And then before we go to bed, somebody, assigned person, does something with the dishes. When we come in, we hang up our coats. This is how we do it. This is how we do it in this house. And you train people to do the things. And if they don't, you train them and you train them. Okay? Because think about it. Your grandkids are going to be so much more productive, awesome human beings when they're out of the nest and they're in the real world, when they know to take care of their own stuff. That they don't expect somebody else to clean up. When they can be a good, they can be a good roommate because they're not the slobby one. They can be a good partner to somebody. They can live alone and have a room that an apartment or a house or whatever that delights them because they've been trained to deal with this mess that they make, clean up their own mess. You know, should we keep things like Christmas decor? Sure, if you want to, keep your Christmas decor or get rid of your Christmas decor. See, this is a great thing. It's not about me, it's about you. Do you want your Christmas decor? If you do, keep it. Do you want to keep all of it? Do you want to keep some of it? Do you want to keep none of it? This is the great thing about decluttering, people. It's all about learning how to make decisions that align with you and what you want in your life and how you want to look and feel. That's the thing I love about one-on-one coaching is an hour a week for 10 weeks. I allow you the freedom, an hour where you can just think about what's important to me right now and what do I want my life to look and feel like and what can I do to make sure that I'm moving in the direction that I want to do. More is caught than taught. Ooh, I like that. I like rhymes and alliterations, things like that. Somebody mentioned dealing with family photos, and here's what I want to offer is we have more photos than ever before. Back in the 100 years past, it was very precious to have one photo. Now we've got a quadrillion of them. Dealing with physical family photos. There are places, if you like, you can get them digitized. You can do it yourself, but it's going to take time. Or you can, ship a box of photos to get them digitized. Even when you do that, that allows you to distribute them. But it's kind of a difficult situation. I would say you don't have to keep all the photos. Here's an idea. Think about the photos that you would want your, relatives 100 years from now. What are the bare minimum photos that you would want to be kind of included in a family tree? So that they knew about you and your family, There we go then. Hope that helps. Call the DV shelter and ask what's needed. Said kitchen, I've been doing 1 cabinet a day in the bin. That's awesome. Yeah. And the best system, you're so right. The best system is the one you will do. And that's why I love giving so many ideas. Like, here's the deal. I don't like rigid frameworks of stuff. What I say is, I don't say no, no system at all. But I say system because think about it. If there was no structure right behind me holding up all this stuff, it would just be piled on the floor. When you have structure, when you have a system that works for you, it makes your life easier. It doesn't fence you in, it frees you up because you can have a clean home in minimum amount of time, you know? I started keeping more items when finances plummeted. I'm sure because it's a scarce, you know, we do that to protect ourselves, you know? Storing your Christmas decor. I'm a big fan of totes from Target, the plastic ones that are clear that have a white lid. They cost like $5-7. They stack. I like to keep it simple. I don't like to, I don't sell you a whole system. I don't do this. I like to keep it so simple. I like to reuse things where I'm doing it. The one thing I will say is I would always recommend that if you're storing anything, store it in like a plastic tote versus a cardboard box in case something floods. Like our basement gets water sometimes, you know? Does anyone have a suggestion for an overabundance of books? What I would say this is look in your neighborhood, look in your community to see if they have any book sales. I was up in Massachusetts seeing my family once, and they had a place where you could literally go put books in like a donation bin, you know? Yeah, probably don't need to save pics for my parties in my 20s, not running for office. You're right. See, it's like we save some things that are sentimental to us, and then after that, it's like nobody else needs to see my pictures from high school, you know? But, you know, think of the ones that are 100 years from today and maybe make a box that's like your family tree box, you know? There you go, little library books all around. Yeah, I love it. You know, I love it. And thank you, everybody. I want to say that the community that quickly builds when I show up and do these TikTok and Facebook lives is seeing everybody with their helpful hints. We're all here to help each other. You know, I need help with certain things. That's why when I really wanted to change my life, I got some paid coaching. And it blew my mind how quickly it was like the superhighway to get my life looking and feeling the way I wanted it to. So I know I've needed to get help. And when I haven't gotten help and said I could do it on my own, all that did was delay me. But I love when I see people here in the comments interacting. So thank you so much for everybody who's giving suggestions, that because sometimes you just don't know. There's some things that I know that are no-brainers to me that I've said to clients, and it's like a revelation, you know? Okay, somebody says, started posting things on Poshmark to sell and made about 4 to 5K last year. It's awesome. How do you part with gifts? I don't even use half of them. There's so much guilt associating. Okay, what I want to offer is guilt. Guilt is such a ingrained, it's a feeling we feel, but it's so freaking unuseful. It just makes you feel bad and stuck, right? I don't want to feel bad and stuck. What's the opposite? I want to feel good. And I want to feel unstuck. And what I want to offer is with gifts. Somebody gave you that gift because they thought you would like it. They hoped you would like it. You gave it a shot. If you liked it, you wouldn't be asking about it. But if you didn't like it, that's okay. They tried. It didn't work. Get used to the feeling. This is the thing for gifts and also for ourselves. Pulling back, almost like looking at the bigger picture. We have been and will forever be bringing items into our lives that we believe are going to add delight or usefulness, okay? Sometimes that works, and those are the things we keep. But sometimes you bring them in and you use them, and it doesn't work the way you want it to. And holding on to it when it's not working doesn't make it work. I remember I bought a salt and pepper shaker that I thought was going to be really cool. It looked really handy. And then when I was using it, it just wasn't working the way I thought it would. Now, I paid money for it, so you could get into that, well, I paid good money for it. That also keeps you stuck with something that's not working for you. And keeping it longer will not suddenly, miraculously make it turn into something that does work for me. So when you have something, if it's a gift, accept the love and the thoughtfulness, because that's the gift. The gift is just an excuse to have that exchange of, hey, I was thinking about you. And you can say, that's so cool that they were thinking about me, but this isn't working. And maybe the thing that doesn't work for you could delight somebody else. Maybe that thing that's just hanging out in your home, bumming you out, is the thing that somebody out on the planet has been dying, that would be the puzzle piece that clicks in and revolutionizes their lives, you know? So I'm just letting you know that's what I say with gifts. And also, if you get into a thing where people are giving you a lot of stuff, you can say, hey, you know what? I'm trying to declutter. Thank you so much for the gifts. But you know what? Maybe we can do things like, how about instead of a gift, we go out to dinner? We do something like we create a memory. We have time together. Time is a better gift than a thing, right? Throughout my yearbooks from high school. Oh, interesting. I still have mine. But you know what? To each their own. I love it. You know? There you go. Ooh, a whole bunch of stuff. Haha, here you are, Mike. Just kidding. Yep, you know what? It is hard to make decisions when it's family stuff. Yeah. Used to save cards, 3 of the exact same year we were born cards from insurance, toss them. Yeah. It's interesting the things you find when you start to become aware of the things that you surround yourself with and how they make you feel. You can make better decisions. You can make decisions. It's all about decision making. And I will say this, especially, I don't know who's on here, but women, we are often encouraged by society to think it's not cool to focus on ourselves, that you're greedy, you're selfish. And what I want to offer is we start to get out of touch with, what do I want? Never mind what the family wants, never mind what the husband, whatever, the mothers, the parents, whatever. Shh. What do you want? You. What do you want your life, your one life on this planet to look and feel like? What do you want to feel like when you're in your home that you're surrounded by all the time? And I want to offer to you that whatever that is, you deserve to have it. I don't think you're talking about, bling and yachts and stuff, but if you are, rock on with your bad self. What I find when I'm coaching clients is they're like, I just want to have the house that like the kids can open the door and I feel cool that they can come and run and play like my grandmother's house. Or I want to feel good that like we're not, always cleaning out our house, and that we can go out on the weekends and have fun things without the guilt of the fact that the stuff in the garage is piling up and we're ignoring it. It's, how do you want your life to look and feel? And you deserve to have whatever your definition of that is. Your definition is going to be different from mine. It's going to be different. And that's the beauty of the world we live in, is you deserve to live a life you like. And a lot of that has to do with the decisions you make that either add to the life you want or keep you in the life you have. And if you love the life you have right now, oh my God, rock on. Keep on doing the good stuff. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Don't keep on doing the good stuff, and do change the things that ain't working, All right, what do we got here? All right, I got like 7 more minutes. Couple other things. Yes. If you would like to get on my mailing list, destinationdeclutter.com/join. You get invited to a monthly Zoom call only for the people on the mailing list. You also get your free habit tracker. I feel like I'm Ron Popeil here, but it's true. I just want to give, I want people to be able to get help, and what I want to also say is, if you know people that are cluttered, maybe you just came across me here on TikTok. If you did and you haven't liked my page, if you could like my page, that'd be great, because it will allow you to know when I'm going to be live again. I do it a couple of times a week. I want my life to look and feel like I have a flexible schedule, and I do, so I don't show up consistently on the same days every week, but I always post a video and pin it to the top telling you when I'm going to be. But you'll also be notified when I go live. Also, I know that there are people out there that you may know too that are struggling with clutter but are not on TikTok. Please let them know that I've got Destination Decluttered on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. I share the videos that I do to all 4 of those, so there's help out there when you need it. Also, just know that even if this is just planting seeds and repetition, that you deserve to live a life you love. Self is so important. Yes. Okay. Interesting. I also find I have difficulty parting with reusable food containers like jars and tubs. I know that feeling too, because you know what that shows is that you are a creative person that says there's value, there's use in this item. But what I want to offer is, if you're not using it that way, that it's getting in the way of you living the life you want. So maybe somebody else could use it, Maybe you could put them together and see if there's a place to donate them. Maybe crafty people might use them for mixing paints or doing things like that. You know, I, for a long time, kept a lot of things that I thought, that's good. I could use that for something. I could be crafty. And what I found out was I wasn't using my time to use them. I was doing other things with my time. And then when I decided that I needed to pay attention to what I was using my time with, and I enjoyed using my time doing other things versus being crafty, and I felt good about making a decision that aligned with who I was and who I wanted to be, all of a sudden I felt like I can release these things. I can pass them on to somebody else who works. Okay. What else do we got here? Oh. Visited two old friends this weekend. One city mouse, one country mouse. Fun to see how they live. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I remember I don't need to have a personal relationship with every jar I meet. That's true. I will say I kept the good ones. You know, like years ago, we had a 90-plus-year-old neighbor, and he was getting rid of some stuff in his from his basement, I think. And he had all these really cool like mason jars, but they weren't even mason. Each one of them had a different like logo embossed on them, and so I kept one of each. And then I passed along the other ones, and then I decided, well, which ones are my favorite? That's the thing about when you're doing stored clutter is picking your favorites. You deserve to only have the best. What are your favorites? Keep the favorites. Yeah, keep the ones that make you feel good. The other ones, share them with somebody else. You know, because I will be honest, jars and plastic containers, like jars especially, I love containers. And I know that there are certain ones that I like better than others. I do. Because, I don't know, there's just a thing about them that there are certain ones I don't like and there's certain ones I like. So the ones that I do like, I keep, and the ones that I don't like, I pass along to somebody else. You know? All right, we got 4 more minutes here, 3 more minutes, 2 more minutes. What I just want to offer in conclusion is, what would I love for you to know? That it may seem, your brain may be telling you that decluttering is overwhelming and, you know, it's hard and it's going to be painful and it's never going to work. Those are all just thoughts in your head. And you realize when you think it's hard, this is going to be difficult, it's not going to work. When you think those thoughts, you feel a certain way, right? How does that make you feel? Like, this is going to be hard. It's not going to work. When you feel that way, then what do you do with your hands? Do you do anything? Do you go declutter? Do you take any action that is different? No, you probably don't. What I want to offer, please, everybody, just realize, think of the opposite. What is the opposite of that thought? You know, when your backseat driver brain offers, this is going to be hard, don't do it. That's because it doesn't want you to change. But when you know you want to change, when you want a life that's different, better than what you have, you need to create the opposite thought of what you're currently doing. And write these things down. That's what I offer with my clients. So what's the opposite? It's going to be hard. It's not going to be that hard. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. It's not going to be wicked easy, but some of it's going to be very easy, and it's not going to be as hard as you think. Okay? It's going to be painful. No, you're going to feel some feelings when you go through some of your clutter, but you're getting to know yourself and you're allowing yourself to feel feelings. We are not zombies or robots. We're supposed to feel feelings, you know? What do I do with my overabundance of masks? What I would say is, I don't know, we may need them again in the future. Tuck them away in a bag. And if you haven't used them in 6 months or a year, then you're going to feel better about getting rid of them. But I will say, like, I got rid of some of my masks when I thought COVID was waning, and then I ended up having to buy more, you know? But the things you're not using now, say, do I really think I'm going to use them in the future? And if you do, still, when you put them away, put the date on it, because you're going to be surprised at how much time flies, okay? There we go. Oh, theatrical masks, okay. Too funny. Yeah, it's so hard when you grow up in scarcity. Everything has a use or could save money in the future. It's true. I get it. I came from a scarcity mindset pretty much for the first 40 years of my life. And what I want to offer is, if you're using it, that's great. But if you're not, and it's just cluttering up your home, realize that you have an overabundance, that you are no longer scarce, except in your brain. That you have more than you could use. That's not scarcity, that's abundance. That's the opposite. But your brain your thoughts haven't caught up. You're still in scarcity mode. You know, like somebody's going to take it away from me, or I might not have it someday. And that's a real thing. I'm not dismissing that at all. I'm just saying it's a thought in your head that you could say, I came from that, but that's no longer the case. Now, not only do I have enough, I have more than enough. I have an abundance. And this abundance is not serving me. This abundance is not working for me. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, release the abundance where it can help somebody else. And then I'm going to feel good with exactly what I have. Okay? That seems like a really good time for me to sign off because I've got stuff to do. Every little bit. I hope this really helps everybody. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I think I'm going to be on the TikTok. Oh, yeah. So tomorrow will be interesting. So I've got this posted on the top of my TikTok page, and I want to offer that tomorrow I'm going to be on TikTok, and then I'm going to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, here's the funny thing. You're welcome. Kim, you're a pile person. Organize your piles. Put your piles of stuff into categories, and that'll make it easier. Diana, thank you. Everybody, you're welcome. Please just know that you are worth living the life you love. If you can design, hang out and figure out what you want your destination to be, and then say, what can I do today that's going to get me a step closer to that? Okay. Tomorrow when I'm on TikTok, I'm on at 8 a.m. And then the fun thing is I go from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube. I'll be on for 2 hours. Very few people show up on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So if you want to get a more one-on-one thing, follow me on one of those. It's not the hundreds of people that show up on these things where I'm kind of scrambling to answer all the questions. We can really get some good one-on-one time if you show up, okay? Just wanted to offer, I'd love to see you, Irish Pink. I'm glad you're making progress. Thank you. It will keep me company when it's slow. But I just really want to just share that I know the difference between the way I used to feel and the way my life used to look and feel. And it is so much better now that I just feel like it's just so important to just let you know that there's hope, that you can do this, that you are worth it, that you are worth sitting there figuring out what's working for you and what's not working for you, and then change the things that are not working for you so you can live a life you love. Okay? And user 1963, I'm still going to be here on TikTok. I tend to show up on TikTok a lot more. I only show up on the other ones because I know there are some people who don't. Okay? But user 1963, whatever, send me that email. I will check for it. We'll get you on my mailing list and we'll figure it out. Okay? All right. I got to go do some coaching. All right? Bye.